Good morning. We have made it to the teacher's lesson. All right, well, today for the lesson, we're going to be talking about a few different things. The very first one is moral sins. Now, adultery is one of the worst sins of mankind because it breaks the trust and the commitment of marriage, which is a sacred and wonderful relationship that should never be taken lightly. Marriage is intended to paint a picture of Christ's relationship with his church. Trust and fidelity or faithfulness are key parts of marriage that should always be kept sacred. Fornication is any kind of sexual impurity, but it often refers specifically to the sexually immoral sin that can happen between two unmarried people. Did you know that the word fornication comes from the same Greek word as the word pornographic, which involves looking at sex-oriented pictures or movies? These two words are linked because often pornographic pictures can influence a young person to commit fornication. We are to keep ourselves pure so that we'll be pure for our marriage partner. Some of the oldest manuscripts of the Bible in the original language do not include a specific reference to the sin of adultery in this passage, but refer only to fornication. Whichever manuscripts are correct, two things are clear. First, the Bible specifically condemns the sin of adultery in other passages. And second, the condemnation of fornication in this passage is a broad condemnation that includes the sin of adultery. Moral impurity or uncleanness includes not only adultery and fornication, but also dirty jokes and words and other types of immorality. Debauchery or lasciviousness is the type of shameless conduct that leads a person to do immoral things to the point that it does not bother him at all. And when you begin by listening to bad language or dirty jokes, soon you will allow the things into your life that are even more immoral. It is a natural course down an immoral path. So you can see there, the first point is adultery and fornication, moral impurity, and debauchery. All right, and then we're going to move on to the sins of wrong values. Idolatry is the first one, and that is putting anything on this earth ahead of your worship and allegiance to God. It is not that the things themselves are wrong, but they are more important in your life than God. Such thing could be clothes, friends, sports, video games, anything that you covet more than you desire to know God. Now, witchcraft and the occult are very important in our society today. Even the worship of Satan is an important part of the lives of many young people. The drug culture is often a part of the occult and Satanism because they can open our minds to demonic intrusion. We need to stay completely away from any of these influences. Now we're going to move on to sins of attitude. Hatred is hostility toward God and others. It is the beginning of a rebellious attitude. Strife or variance speaks of ambitious contention with others. It means that one wants his own way and therefore becomes very argumentative. Jealousy or emulation refers to the desire to prove oneself better than the other person. It includes a definite attitude of pride. Wrath is anger that has been put into action. Rather than existing within a person as hatred, it is now coming out of the person as anger and even outbursts of rage. Selfish ambition involves wrath that is so strong that it creates factions or groups that are at odds with each other. Each side has a "I must win at all costs" attitude. Dissensions are the end result of strife, in which division between groups has definitely taken place. Groups are out-and-out rivals, and there is jealousy against one another. Factions refers to the fact that at this point everyone is arguing and taking sides against one another. Their attitudes and disputings are based on opinions rather than facts. And there is no interest in finding out the truth or listening to the other person's side of the matter. Envy includes the attitude of being antagonistic towards someone else's success. It means not wanting the other side to succeed at anything and having bitterness if they do. And the last one we need to talk about is sins against society. Murders can be the eventual result of the attitude sins that started with hatred. Hatred taken to its extreme leads to murder, and murder can either be something that is done physically with a weapon or something that we do to kill the heart and soul of another with our wrath and bitterness. Some old manuscripts also do not contain this term specifically, but the Bible obviously condemns such behavior. Drunkenness is a deadly sin because it causes addiction and sickness and wrecks homes and lives. The Bible is very specific about the abuse of alcohol and why it is a sin against God. Carousing or revelings are the actions of a drunkard at wild parties. It is the uncontrolled, lustful behavior that occurs at wild drinking parties. So there we have it. There are all of the works of the flesh that are mentioned in this part of the Bible that we're reading. Okay, so hopefully you got all those answers, and I need you to fill that in, and then take a picture of it, send it in, and study for your quiz. All right, I will talk to you later. Bye.